What's up guys, it's Meg and it's that time of the week again where we get to talk about the best show on television, AMC's The Walking Dead. Today we're talking about season 6 episode 14 called Twice as Far. What did you guys think of the episode last night? I'm so mad. I'm really struggling with last night's episode. You guys know that I'm a big fan of Carol. She's like my number 1, number 2 in The Walking Dead. I love her so much. I've loved her from the very beginning, really, to see her develop so much, and nearly every review I do, I'm talking about Carol at some point or another, and I'm just so angry with how they ended last night's episode. I just can't believe that the writers have chosen to go this route with her, and it's really frustrating for a Carol fan. So let's get started with the review and kind of talk. I just want to talk about Carol for a minute and get it out of the way. We have a lot to talk about. The Denise scenario here was extremely sad. I was not expecting that at all. But really, the whole Carol thing has just really pissed me off. And I really struggle with this show sometimes because I love it. I'm obsessed with it. You guys know it. I'm a huge fan, live and breathe Walking Dead. So it's very, very rare that I get really upset with like the way the show's going or progressing. And I've not really enjoyed this Carol transition at all, quite frankly. Ever since the wolf situation and her run-in with Morgan, and I'm just gonna blame Morgan because I feel like I really need someone to blame here, and my blame might be unjustified, but I feel like Carol was pretty badass and pretty like she knew what she was doing and she was awesome, and yes, she was a killer, but man, she was like doing it for the people that she cared about. And then as soon as Morgan comes in and they have their big fight and this big episode where the wolves attack, and then she's just this changed person and she just is going downhill more and more until we get to this episode. Now, the beginning of this episode started out with some repeating scenes. Now, oh my gosh, I've had so many people message me and comment that I was wrong in my assumptions as to what they were doing at the beginning of the episode, okay? Let me start out by saying that a reaction video is just that. It's like a first-hand reaction. Most of the time, none of us know what the fuck is going on, okay? We just don't. So when we see weird things happen, we all try and figure out what the meaning behind it is, because sometimes there's some really like far-out meanings behind what the writers are trying to tell us. And so a lot of times we overthink what the writers are trying to tell us. So when the episode started out, we see the scene play out, and then we see like the scene play out again and the scene play out again. And I think we saw those first scenes like 3 different times, and they looked identical, except that you know, in watching it again, you can see that there are like slight differences here. But in watching it the very first time, it's like, why are they showing us these 3 scenes right in a row? It's very confusing. So throughout the episode, it's in the back of my mind going, I don't understand why they were doing this. And we see Rick look at Morgan's new prison cell, and you know, then he gets that kind of like blurry, and it's very confusing, quite frankly. It's very confusing, and I hate it when I spend so much of the episode contemplating one certain like portion. Like, why did they do that? I feel like we need to be able to understand it right away. But that could just be me. So at the end of the episode though, we realize, and I didn't realize while watching it, but thank you, I'm kind of smart, you know, sometimes. I don't need everyone to necessarily tell me how wrong I am. I did realize, even without everyone's help and comments, that it was the passage of time, okay? So basically, let me like clarify, I no longer believe what I said in my reaction video, that they were showing us the end at the beginning, okay? I get it. Passage of time. It took me a while, a little bit slower this episode, but I got it, okay? So to clarify, in case anyone else didn't understand what they were doing, basically they're showing us kind of multiple days passing and everyone's in their routine. Everyone's kind of going about their daily things. And then at the very end of the episode, there are some significant changes to this routine that we see. So the routine changes as in we see Tobin on the porch reading a note, and we see Sasha up on the watch, you know, kind of platform, and Rosita there, and she's looking at Rosita. which, you know, is a change because we see something earlier in the episode happen with Abraham and Sasha. Another change would be that they're rolling out all of the guns and arming everyone. And then probably the most significant changes you see at the beginning of the episode, there was every scene had Carol on the porch, either looking at the cross necklace or smoking or doing something there. And then the very last scene is the porch swing rocking and she's not there. And then we hear the kind of monologue of her letter to Tobin. And basically, and this is what's got me so fucking pissed off, I hate what Carol has become right now because it doesn't bode well, and it's really frustrating to see such an amazing character go downhill so quickly. And everyone struggles with this life here in the apocalypse here. So I don't blame her for suddenly realizing and having feelings about all of the deaths that she has caused and all of the people that she has murdered. It is always bound to come back and affect you at some point. What's frustrating to me is the sudden, I mean, it's like such a sudden turnaround for her, and it has affected her so greatly that she's willing to leave the group. She doesn't want to kill for anyone, okay? Because she doesn't want to do that anymore. She hit her limit with the saviors there and she doesn't want to do it anymore. Okay, fine, I'll give her that. But she also doesn't want anyone else to kill for her. So she doesn't want to you know, be there at Alexandria, and she's not fighting, but maybe she has to be rescued because she's not fighting. Somebody else might have to kill someone in order to save her, and she doesn't want that. So at the end of the episode, we find out that she's left, and she's left a cryptic note, and I'm so upset. Okay, so I've spent a lot of time talking about this. I'm gonna move on. Feel free to let me know what you guys thought about this Carol storyline, where you think it's going. I am not going to touch on my predictions for her because I have some pretty big predictions here, and I'm going to leave that for my dead ahead video, which should be coming up next. So we'll talk more about it there. I definitely need some outside perspective on this Carol thing. Me being a big fan of her character, I'm finding it hard to see the good in what's happening with her storyline here. So feel free to let me know what you think. I would love to hear other theories on where her character is going and maybe why the writers are choosing to do this so drastically all of a sudden. Moving right along, we see two different groups of people outside of Alexandria. We see Daryl and Rosita and Denise, and this is probably the biggest storyline in the episode. Denise has an idea to go to an apothecary to find drugs and medicine, and it's a great idea, but we find out that she hasn't ventured out of the walls at all since the start of everything. She's been in Alexandria. She's never experienced really any of the horrors that come with being a survivor in the apocalypse. She has been sheltered. She's trying to learn. She's kind of learning to fight from Rosita, but you know, she just hasn't had that experience. So they decide to all go out on this adventure apothecary run. And we hear a lot more of Denise's story. And you know, I didn't realize what was happening in this episode until it happened, but we're learning a lot about her and a lot about her character and the person she's becoming. We know that she regrets sending Tara out on that run and not telling her that she loved her, and maybe not going with her. And we can feel that, and especially when she's on the train tracks and she's saying, you know what's stupid? Not living. You know what's stupid is being scared to not tell someone you love them, or being scared to live. And she's giving this epic speech, and then Dwight's arrow comes. And it was really shocking because in that moment, I was not expecting Denise to die at all, and I should have seen it coming. I did, but I'm going to tell you, I was so focused on Daryl in that moment that I completely missed all of the signs leading to Denise. And if I hadn't been so focused on Daryl, I would have seen that. I'm sure I would have seen that throughout the episode. But I had predicted potentially a while ago that it would be really like ironic if Dwight had stolen Daryl's crossbow, and then eventually Daryl had been the one to get the arrow to the eye, killed by his own crossbow. I thought, wow, that would be one of those ways that the writers would really stick it to us. And I was really worried this entire episode because I had this very strong feeling Dwight was coming. I didn't read spoilers, but I knew it. It's like 99% sure that Dwight was going to show up in the episode. So I knew someone was going to die this way in this episode. And when we saw Daryl and Rosita and Denise on the tracks there, I thought Daryl is like the #1 target here. He is the one that is going to get it. And I was so worried that I completely missed this Denise thing. I was completely shocked that she died that way. I'm sad. She wasn't like my favorite character. I definitely liked this episode, especially seeing her kind of progress and learning more about her, learning that she had a twin, learning why she doesn't drink, learning just all about her and about her regrets for not living the way she should be living. And then she's giving this epic like speech and she just dies. And I loved that scene, and I hate that I loved it because it's really sad to see someone, you know, a character get killed in such a horrible way. But at the same time, being a comic fan, it was just like brilliant. I loved seeing it. It looked very real. And seeing Dwight, oh my gosh, the way he even looks more emaciated, he's skinnier, the scarring looked really great, although I do have to say it's only been like 2 months, right, since the Dwight and Daryl incident, and then moving forward to present time. So shouldn't his like facial scarring be a lot more red? I know that I've had pretty significant scars before, and they stay red for a really long time. They don't necessarily fade quite as much in a 2-month time period. So I would have liked to see more of facial scarring. Obviously, being a comic fan, Dwight in the comics had much more significant like facial scarring. It was much more obvious. And in looking at Dwight right away, you don't even necessarily notice it. And it's only more noticeable because I was looking for it and I knew it was coming, and more noticeable when he kind of turned his head. It would have been great to see it be a little bit more like gory looking, and a little bit more red, as in, you know, it's still not healed all the way. What did you guys think about the Dwight appearance though? I mean, it was pretty awesome. I hate that I liked him because, you know, he's playing this awful guy right now, but knowing his history and his future, and I won't spoil it in this review, but I like his character currently in the comics, so I want to hate him now, but I can't because I still like him, and I think that his acting was really good, and I just love the way he's portraying Dwight. It's awesome to see Dwight brought to the television screen. I loved it. The the Eugene scene where Eugene bites Dwight. Oh my gosh, I was not expecting that. I will say that the writers have this awesome way of always making us think, oh my gosh, how is our group going to get out of this now? And you look at the situation and you're like, there is no way, unless they're rescued, there is literally no way they're getting out of this. And then bam, you know, they get out of it in like an amazing way. And I think that is kind of a build-up here because we know what's coming in the finale. Again, I'm not going to kind of spoil it too much. I feel like pretty much any Walking Dead fan kind of has an idea of what's coming in the finale. But our group has always been able to get out of these like insane situations. We see them escape Terminus. We see them, you know, escape the wolves. We see them escape saviors and blow the saviors to pieces, and they're always escaping in these like brilliant, extraordinary ways where it's almost a little bit like, really this is happening right now. And then, you know, we're so confident in our group's ability, and we're about to get completely struck down in the finale, and we're so confident that our group will somehow be able to escape Negan and the saviors and come out on top, and it's just not going to happen. It's going to be a really big blow to fans that don't know what's coming, I feel like, because we're so confident, and our group is so confident in being able to fight off people. We hear Rick say it when he's at the hilltop, that we've never had a problem with confrontation, and he's way overly confident, and we've seen him be completely overconfident in these last few episodes. So we know it's just kind of building up to this like insane finale that's just gonna crush our group and let our group know that they are not invincible. And quite frankly, I'm not looking forward to it at all. So before we move on from that railroad track scene, I just wanted to say Eugene was brilliant. I loved seeing that particular scene brought to life from the comics. Obviously in the comics it was in a much different way that happened, but seeing him bite Dwight was just like such a shocker. And like I was saying, in that moment I was wondering, how in the heck is our group going to escape this? They're going to be captives, or they're going to lead the saviors back to Alexandria. There's just like no way out of it. I saw Abe, I got a little bit of hope. Then I got really upset that Eugene outed Abe. And I was thinking, okay, well, what is Eugene's plan here? He better have a really good plan if he's gonna say that, you know, Abe's hiding behind the trees over there. And then, you know, of course, it's like friggin' amazing. I love that Daryl got his crossbow back. Who was excited about that? It does make me a little bit worried because obviously in the comics, Dwight has that crossbow. I mean, that's Dwight's thing here. And I thought it was gonna be his thing when he took it from Daryl the first time. So I'm a little bit like, this makes me nervous because I feel like he will get it back eventually. And so yes, I'm happy that Daryl got it back for now. I'm a little bit worried about Daryl and just that like fact there. I'm just gonna leave it there because I don't want to talk about Daryl dying. I don't. Moving along though to Abraham and Eugene, before all of this happened, Eugene has this great idea to manufacture bullets. Abe thinks it's brilliant. They found the place to do it. I loved this scene. I loved seeing Eugene kind of take charge of himself, and he's not that wimpy guy anymore. He's really trying and making an effort to adapt, as he tries to explain to Abe in this episode. I really enjoy seeing his character evolve, and he is becoming stronger and he's becoming smarter. His survival instincts are kind of kicking it up a notch, and he's doing really great. I also enjoy his ponytail. I think it's pretty funny. So one last very minor thing I want to talk about is after everyone comes back, after Abraham comes back to Alexandria, he goes to Sasha, and I think he's kind of had this moment of realization where he's not willing to like let Sasha walk away really. He's broken up with Rosita, but we haven't seen him pursue Sasha yet. And he goes to Sasha and he just kind of, you know, says it, and she invites him in. And I think in that moment, her inviting him in is more like she's accepting her feelings for him and accepting that they're gonna move forward in this. Especially because at the end of the episode, we see Sasha up on the platform. Rosita comes and takes over the guard duty at the gate, and you kind of see this look that Sasha gives Rosita. And so I feel like that'll come to a head at some point, but not in this season. So I am happy though to see Abraham actually, you know, go after Sasha, go after what he wants, and to actually have Sasha not like put a stop to it, to invite him in, and that kind of opens the door for a relationship to evolve with them. Again, I'm really sad about Carol. I'm really worried for her, especially after seeing the previews for the next episode. This was not my favorite episode. There were definitely amazing scenes that I really enjoyed. I hate to say it, but I really enjoyed Denise's death. I do feel really bad for Tara. She's gonna be really sad when she comes back, and I don't know how that's gonna affect her character, quite frankly. But there were some amazing scenes, and then there's just the way this episode ended. I have so much sadness and emotion and like frustration for Carol, but also for these last two episodes. Like, I'm really freaking out. And it's funny because I have to keep telling myself, this is just a television show. Like, Megan, you have to chill out. This is just a television show. These aren't real people. These aren't real storylines. These people aren't actually dying. But it's hard to be so invested in a show and then see these characters that you care about be killed off, or potentially like be leaving the show, or seeing something bad happen to it. I said before, I've been dreaming about this every single night. It is taking that much of its toll on me. So I'm not excited. As much as I like seeing these scenes from the comics, I'm not excited for these last two episodes. I'm so nervous and I have so much anxiety. So I hope that I'm not the only one feeling like this. If you guys are feeling like this too, let me know. I need to know that I'm not alone in my sadness for the last 2 episodes here. I will say though, I'm pretty pumped to actually see Negan. I'm just not pumped to see anything else that he's gonna do. I'm not. But I want to see him so bad. I want to see him in I want to see Jeffrey Dean Morgan in character here. I just think it's gonna be like the most brilliant thing, and I'm gonna be happy for like 2 seconds, and then I'm gonna freak out. So that's it for my review. Sorry if I rambled. I have like a lot of frustration for this, so I feel like maybe I didn't quite hit all of the points, and this probably wasn't that great of a review video, but emotions are running high right now. I'm a nervous wreck. So that's it for my review. Let me know what you guys thought about the episode in the comments below, and if I missed anything, feel free to point it out. We can talk more there. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, please feel free to give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. And I will see you guys next time. I hope you have a great day. Bye.